We should have noticed that every patient on the fourth floor had the same admission date. Because when I finally checked, they'd all been declared dead on the same night, exactly 1 year ago. My name is David Chen, and I was a night shift orderly at Mercy General Hospital in upstate New York. I say was, because after what happened last week, I can never go back. The hospital administration has my resignation letter. What they don't have is the truth about what really happens on the fourth floor after midnight. I started working at Mercy General 3 months ago. The pay was decent, the benefits were good, and night shift meant fewer supervisors breathing down your neck. My job was simple: transport patients, deliver supplies, help nurses with lifting when needed. Basic stuff. The fourth floor was the long-term care unit. Patients who weren't quite sick enough for ICU, but needed constant monitoring. Mostly elderly folks, a few accident victims, some waiting for surgery. During my orientation, the charge nurse, a woman named Patricia, who'd worked there for 20 years, gave me one instruction that seemed odd at the time. After 1 a.m., if you need to go to the fourth floor, take the stairs, never the elevator. I asked why. She just looked at me with these exhausted eyes and said, "Because the elevator doesn't always take you to the same fourth floor." I laughed it off as some weird hospital superstition. Medical facilities are full of them. Don't say the Q word, don't whistle at night, all that stuff. I figured she was just hazing the new guy. For the first 2 months, I followed her advice anyway. The stairs were good exercise, and honestly, the fourth floor gave me the creeps even during the day. It was older than the rest of the hospital, part of the original building from 1952. The lighting was dimmer, the tiles were that sickly green color, and there was always this smell. Not the usual hospital smell of disinfectant and illness. Something underneath that. Something sweet and rotten at the same time. Last Tuesday started like any other shift. I clocked in at 11 p.m., checked my assignment sheet, and started my rounds. At 12:30 a.m., I got a call from Patricia. "David, I need you to run some IV bags up to the fourth floor. Room 412. Can you handle that?" "Sure thing. Stairs, right?" There was a pause. "Yes, always the stairs." I grabbed the supplies and headed up. But when I got to the stairwell, I found it blocked off. Yellow caution tape across the entrance and a handwritten sign. "Water damage. Repairs in progress. Use elevator." I called Patricia back. "Hey, the stairs are blocked. Is it okay to use the elevator just this once?" Another pause, longer this time. "How bad do they need those IV bags?" "The label says urgent." I heard her sigh deeply. "Okay, but David, listen to me very carefully. When you get in the elevator, press 4 and keep your eyes on the floor numbers. If it stops anywhere else, do not get out. And if the doors open and it doesn't look right, if anything feels off, close those doors and come right back down. Understand?" "Patricia, you're freaking me out here." "I'm serious, David. Promise me." Okay, I promise." I walked to the elevator bank feeling ridiculous. It's just an elevator, I told myself. What's the worst that could happen? Get stuck for an hour? The doors opened immediately when I pressed the button. The elevator was empty, well lit, perfectly normal. I stepped in, pressed 4, and watched the numbers light up. 1, 2, 3. The elevator slowed. But instead of stopping at 4, it lurched slightly and the number flickered. For just a second, I could have sworn it showed a number that didn't exist. Floor 4.5. Then the doors opened. The hallway looked right at first glance. Same green tiles, same dim lighting, same layout. But something was wrong. The air was colder, almost refrigerated, and that sweet, rotten smell was overwhelming. I remembered Patricia's warning. This doesn't look right. Close the doors and go back. But then I saw her, a nurse walking away from me down the corridor. She was wearing old-fashioned scrubs, the kind from decades ago, and she was pushing a medication cart. "Excuse me," I called out. "Is this the 4th floor?" She stopped but didn't turn around. "Room 412? "Yes, I have supplies for— Follow me." She started walking again. I should have hit that close door button. I should have listened to Patricia. But the nurse knew where room 412 was, and I just wanted to drop off these bags and get the hell out. I followed her down the hallway. As we passed the patient rooms, I glanced inside. Every single room was occupied. Every single patient was lying perfectly still in their beds, eyes open, staring at the ceiling, not blinking, not moving. "Are they okay?" I asked. The nurse didn't answer. She stopped at room 412 and gestured to the door. "In there." I pushed it open. The room was dark except for the glow of monitors. A patient was in the bed, connected to various machines. As my eyes adjusted, I saw his face. It was me. I was lying in that bed, eyes closed, monitors showing a heartbeat, an oxygen mask over my face. "What the fuck is this?" I stepped back, dropping the IV bags. The nurse finally turned around. Her face was gray, sunken, her eyes completely white. When she smiled, her teeth were black and rotting. "You're early," she said in that muffled voice. "You're not scheduled for admission until next week." I ran, pure instinct. I bolted back toward where I thought the elevator was, but the hallway had changed. It stretched impossibly long, doors multiplying on both sides. I could hear footsteps behind me, not just the nurse, but others. Lots of others. I risked a glance back and wished I hadn't. Every patient from every room was in the hallway now, all standing perfectly still, all staring at me with those unblinking eyes. And walking among them were nurses and doctors in old-fashioned uniforms, all with that same gray skin and white eyes. I found a stairwell, not the one I'd come from, but I didn't care. I threw myself through the door and ran down, taking the steps 3 at a time. The door above me slammed open, and I heard them coming. Slow, steady footsteps. Dozens of them. I burst through a door at the bottom, expecting to hit the ground floor. Instead, I found myself in a basement I didn't recognize. Old equipment covered in dust and cobwebs. Gurneys lined up against the walls, and on every gurney was a body bag. One of them was moving. I heard a muffled voice from inside. "Help me. Please. I don't belong here yet." I couldn't move. I was frozen in terror. Then I saw the tag on the body bag. It had a name and a date. David Chen. Admission date, next Tuesday. The footsteps were getting closer, echoing down the stairwell. I spotted another door across the basement and ran for it. I slammed through and found myself in a normal hallway. Bright lights, regular hospital sounds. A janitor mopping the floor looked at me weird. "You okay, buddy? You look like you've seen a ghost." I checked my phone. 12:45 a.m. I'd been gone for 15 minutes. I took the main elevator down to the 1st floor, clocked out, and went straight to my car. I sat there shaking for an hour before I could drive. The next day I looked up the hospital records. I wanted to know about that 4th floor, the old one. What I found made my blood run cold. In 1952, there was a fire on the 4th floor. 73 patients died, along with 12 nurses and 3 doctors. They all suffocated from the smoke before firefighters could reach them. The wing was rebuilt, but the layout remained the same. I checked the patient list from that night. Every single person I'd seen in those rooms matched the names of people who died in that fire. And the admission date on all their original charts? The same date I'd seen in room 412. Next Tuesday. I called in sick the next few shifts. Then I typed up my resignation. I couldn't explain it, so I just said it was for personal reasons. Patricia called me before my last day. "You took the elevator, didn't you?" I didn't answer right away. "Why didn't you just tell me the truth? Would you have believed me? Would anyone?" She sighed. "That 4th floor, it's like a recording, a loop. Those people died thinking they were just regular patients on a regular night. And now, they just keep waiting for their treatments, their medications, their visitors who never come. But why did I see myself? Why next Tuesday?" Long silence. "David, did you check your work schedule for next week?" I pulled it up on my phone. Next Tuesday, I was scheduled for a double shift, 3 p.m. to 7 a.m. "The fire started at 2:17 a.m., Patricia said quietly. "They've been renovating the 4th floor electrical system next week. Old wiring. They're doing most of the work at night to avoid disrupting patient care." My hands started shaking again.
Don't come in next Tuesday, David. Don't come in at all. Find another job, another hospital, another city if you can.
"But you still work here. How do you—"
I don't take the elevator, ever. And I never work on Tuesdays. She paused. I've lost 3 orderlies and 2 nurses over the years. They all thought they were being paranoid. They all took the elevator just this once. They all died in freak accidents within a week. I hung up and immediately started applying to other hospitals. I got an offer in Vermont 4 hours away. I took it without negotiating salary. But here's the thing that keeps me up at night. Yesterday, I got a call from Mercy General's HR department. They said there was an error in the system, and I was still showing as scheduled for next Tuesday. They needed me to confirm I was resigning before that date. I confirmed. Absolutely, definitely resigning. The HR rep thanked me and hung up. Then my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. It was a photo. A photo of me in a hospital bed, eyes closed, monitors glowing in the darkness. The metadata showed it was taken in room 412. And the timestamp? Next Tuesday, 2:16 a.m. I'm writing this from a motel 2 states away. I'm not going back to New York next week. I'm not going anywhere near that hospital. But I keep having this dream. I'm in an elevator, and the numbers are counting up. 1, 2, 3. And then that flicker, 4.5. The doors open, and I step out even though I don't want to, even though I'm screaming at myself not to. And every time I wake up at exactly 2:17 a.m., which is the same time I woke up just now. Except I'm not in the motel anymore. I'm in a hospital bed. There are monitors beeping beside me, an oxygen mask over my face. And through the window and the door, I can see a nurse walking by, old-fashioned scrubs, gray skin. She stops and looks in at me, smiles with those black, rotting teeth. The door opens. "Welcome back to the 4th floor, David. We've been expecting you." I try to move, but I can't. I try to scream, but no sound comes out. The monitor next to me shows today's date, Tuesday,
And I finally understand. Patricia was wrong about one thing. It wasn't the elevator that was dangerous. It was knowing about the fourth floor at all. Because once you know, once you've seen it, you're already admitted. You're already on their schedule. And the fourth floor always collects its patients. Always. I should have questioned why the ICU was always exactly half full. Because when I finally checked the records, I realized the empty beds weren't empty at all. They were just waiting for their next occupants, and the schedule was already written. My name is Dr. Sarah Winters, and I was a resident physician at Lakewood Medical Center in rural Oregon. I'd been there for 8 months, working the overnight shifts in the intensive care unit. It was grueling work, 12-hour shifts from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., monitoring the sickest patients in the hospital, making split-second decisions that meant life or death. But I was good at it. I'd saved 17 lives in my first 6 months. The attending physicians said I had instincts, that I could sense when a patient was about to crash before the monitors even showed it. They called me a natural. They had no idea how right they were. The ICU at Lakewood had 12 beds, arranged in a semicircle around the central nurses' station. 6 beds on the left side, 6 on the right. And here's the thing I didn't notice for the first 7 months. The left side was always full, and the right side was always empty. Always. I mean, sometimes a patient would get admitted to the right side, but they'd either be transferred within hours or they'd die. The left side had the long-term patients, the ones fighting for weeks. The right side was like a revolving door. It was Dr. Reeves, the senior attending, who first made me notice. He was in his 60s, had been working at Lakewood since it opened in 1978. He was reviewing charts with me one night when he casually mentioned it. "Notice anything odd about bed assignments, Dr. Winters?" I looked at the board. Beds 1 through 6 on the left were occupied. Beds 7 through 12 on the right were empty. "We're having a slow night?" He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Look at the assignment logs. Go back 6 months, a year, 5 years. I pulled up the digital records on my tablet. He was right. Every single night for the past 5 years, the left side was full, the right side was empty. The patient names changed, the conditions varied, but the pattern never did. "That's statistically impossible," I said. "You'd think so." Dr. Reeves closed the chart he was holding. "Tell me, Dr. Winters, have you ever been in the ICU during the 3 a.m. hour, really paying attention?" "I'm here every night at 3 a.m. "No, I mean paying attention. Not charting, not doing rounds, not checking labs, just watching." The way he said it made my skin crawl. "What happens at 3 a.m.? He looked at me for a long moment, then shook his head. "You're a good doctor, Sarah. Better than most. My advice? Request a transfer to day shift. Tell them you're burned out. Tell them whatever you want. Just stop working nights." "Dr. Reeves, what aren't you telling me?" But he just walked away, leaving me standing there with a tablet full of impossible data. Of course I didn't request a transfer. I was 28 years old, still trying to prove myself, still convinced I could handle anything medicine threw at me. And besides, I was curious now. So the next night, at exactly 3 a.m., I positioned myself at the nurse's station with a cup of coffee and waited. The ICU was quiet. 4 patients on the left side, all stable for the moment. Beds 7 through 12 stood empty, their monitors dark, their sheets pristine and white. At 2:58 a.m., the temperature dropped. Not dramatically,
but enough that I pulled my white coat tighter. My breath didn't mist or anything dramatic like that, but I could feel the cold settling into my bones.
At 2:59 a.m., the lights flickered. Just once. The backup generators hummed to life for a split second, then everything returned to normal. At exactly 3 a.m., the monitors on the right side turned on. All 6 of them. I stood up, my heart starting to pound. The screens glowed green in the darkness, showing flat lines, no heart rate, no breathing, no brain activity. Just the steady tone of a patient who'd been dead for hours. Then the beds weren't empty anymore. I don't know how to explain it. I didn't see them appear. I blinked and they were just there. 6 patients lying in beds 7 through 12, perfectly still. They were connected to IVs, to ventilators, to all the standard equipment. Everything looked normal, except for one thing. Their eyes were open, all of them, staring straight up at the ceiling. And the monitors still showed flap lines. I grabbed my stethoscope and approached bed 7. The patient was a middle-aged man, pale, not breathing. I pressed the stethoscope to his chest. Nothing. No heartbeat. But his eyes tracked my movement. They followed me as I stepped back. "Hello?" I whispered. "Can you hear me?" The man's mouth opened. No breath came out, but I heard a voice, thin, distant, like it was coming from very far away. "What time is it?" I checked my watch. 3:02 a.m. Good. Still time. His eyes went back to staring at the ceiling. "Don't want to be late." "Late for what?" "Sir, I need to—" "Morning rounds. Doctor comes at 7 a.m. Have to be ready." He spoke in a monotone, like he was reciting something memorized long ago. "Have to look our best. Have to be strong. Have to survive until morning rounds." I backed away and looked at the other beds. All 6 patients were identical in their stillness, all staring up, all with flatline monitors. I ran to find the night nurse, a woman named Jennifer who'd been working ICU for 15 years. "Jennifer, there are patients in beds 7 through 12. They weren't there an hour ago. They're not in a system, and they're not breathing, but they're moving." She held up a hand, not even looking up from her medication cart. "What time is it, Dr. Winters?" 3:03 a.m. "Then don't look at the right side until 6. Trust me." "What the hell is going on? Those people need help." "Those people are beyond help." Jennifer finally met my eyes. "They've been beyond help for a very long time. The best thing you can do is leave them alone until they disappear." I should have listened. I should have just sat at the nurse's station and waited for 6 a.m. like she said. But I'm a doctor. I took an oath. I can't just ignore patients, even ones that don't make any sense. I went back to bed 7. The man was still staring at the ceiling. "Sir, I'm Dr. Winters. I'm going to help you." "Can't help." His voice was so quiet. "Already failed morning rounds. 5 years ago. Failed, and now we wait." "Wait for what?" "To try again. Every night at 3 a.m., we get another chance. We have until 7 a.m. to get strong enough, stable enough, alive enough to survive morning rounds. But we never do." A single tear rolled down his cheek, though he still wasn't breathing. "We never do." I checked his wristband. It had a name, Thomas Berkeley, and a date, March 15th, 2018. 5 years ago. I pulled up the hospital records on my tablet. Thomas Berkeley had been a real patient.
admitted to the ICU on March 14, 2018, with multiple organ failure. He'd been placed in bed 7.
He died during morning rounds on March 15th at 7:23 a.m. when his heart gave out despite the medical team's best efforts. "Code Blue, bed 8!" The alarm shattered the moment. I spun around. The patient in bed 8, a young woman according to her chart, died in 1992, was seizing. Her body was convulsing even though the monitor still showed a flat line. Instinct took over. I ran to her bed, started to reach for the crash cart. Jennifer grabbed my arm with surprising strength. "Don't. You can't code a ghost, Dr. Winters. She's seizing. She's remembering. She had a seizure during morning rounds 31 years ago. Her brain is replaying it. There's nothing you can do." I don't know how long I stood there. Time felt strange, syrupy. I watched these 6 dead people go through the motions of being patients. Their monitors would occasionally blip with activity, a heartbeat, a breath, before going flat again. They would speak occasionally, always about morning rounds, always about needing to be ready. At 5:47 a.m., Thomas looked at me again. "You should go, doctor. You don't want to be here for morning rounds." "Why? What happens at morning rounds?" "The doctor comes. He always comes. And he makes us remember how we failed." The temperature dropped again, much colder this time. I could see my breath now. I turned around. There was a man standing at the entrance to the ICU. He was wearing a white coat, had a stethoscope around his neck, carried a clipboard. He looked perfectly normal, except for 2 things. He was translucent. I could see through him to the hallway beyond. And his name tag read, Dr. James Carmichael, Chief of Medicine, 1952 to 1978. The ghost doctor walked past me like I wasn't there. He approached bed 7 where Thomas lay waiting. "Good morning, mister." "Berkeley." His voice echoed strangely. "How are we feeling today?"
"Better, doctor."
Thomas's voice was desperate, hopeful. "Much better. I think I'm ready to..." Dr. Carmichael checked the monitor. The flat line. "I'm sorry, Mr. Berkeley. You're not responding to treatment. We've done all we can." "No, please. I can get better. I just need more time." "Time's up. You failed." And Thomas Berkeley screamed. Not a normal scream. Something that came from somewhere deeper than his lungs. Something that came from the core of his soul. Dr. Carmichael moved to bed 8, then bed 9. The same routine with each patient. The same verdict. The same screams. When he finished with bed 12, he finally seemed to notice me. "Dr. Winters." He consulted his clipboard. "You're not scheduled for morning rounds." "I'm the overnight resident." "Ah," he made a note. "And how are our patients doing?" I looked at the beds. All 6 were empty now, like they'd never been occupied. "They're gone." "No." Dr. Carmichael smiled. "They're just resting. They'll try again tomorrow night. They always try again." "Bed 11 has been waiting for you, Dr. Winters, since the day you started working here." I ran. I didn't even grab my bag. I just ran out of the ICU, down the stairs, through the lobby, to my car. That was 6 days ago. I thought I was safe. I really did. But last night, I woke up at 3 a.m. to the sound of monitors beeping. I opened my eyes, and I was in a hospital bed. Bed 11. "Welcome," she whispered. "You're just in time for morning rounds." Every morning at 3 a.m., I wake up in bed 11. I lie there, unable to move, unable to speak, watching the clock count down to 7 a.m. And at exactly 7 o'clock, Dr. Carmichael appears.
Good morning, Dr. Winters. How are we feeling today? It's 6:52 a.m. right now. I can feel myself getting cold. The monitor next to my bed just turned on. 8 minutes until morning rounds. I think today might be the day I don't wake up.